Hello, everybody, and welcome back to That Pretentious Book Club.
Yeah.
Woo! Everybody cue the party. We are all alone in our houses. Today, you guys are graced with the very special presence of all three TPPC hosts. Aren't you lucky? Yes, you are, as are we, particularly me, that I am graced with such beautiful ladies.
Aw.
Over there is Dr. Spoons Palermo, aka Kendall Shaw.
Hi, howdy.
And that is Gino, aka Marissa Yoki.
I have zero introduction still.
And over there is Ash O'Rourke, but you can
Oh
call her
yeah,
Wheezy.
it ain't easy being Wheezy.
There you go.
Although it is easy on the eyes today because my both of my co-hosts showed up looking so cute. Like Kendall showed up and she's all cute, and I was like, thank God I put on makeup today because like I didn't want to be the only not cute one. And then Gino shows up on camera after lots of technical difficulties, and she looks like Britney Spears. So I was like, this is good. This is good.
Ash
We
is
all brought it today.
conveniently leaving out the part where we were showering her with affection and
Oh
saying
yeah.
she was so beautiful.
And
And
then they told me that they hated me.
I was like, oh,
No.
Ash, that's the face you're wearing today?
Yeah.
oh, that was
I'm
a
so sorry, you guys.
choice.
This is so embarrassing. That was a choice. Yeah, but if you guys want to skip all of the nonsense, I don't understand that whatsoever, but you can. The skip notes are in the episode description. If you want to hear just about the book that we're going to cover today, go for it. We're going to talk about Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia. Encyclopedia, anyone? Encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia, like you know
Baby.
from How I Met Your Mother? No? Yes.
Oh, nice.
It's
Because
been a
Ted
while.
refuses to, Ted says that it's encyclopedia because he's pretentious, but it's encyclopedia.
Oh,
Anyways,
okay.
Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Faeries by Heather Fawcett, which was a fantastic book that I loved. And here's the thing that I just like cracked up about right before we started recording. And I said, I can't tell you guys why I'm laughing because I want to save it for the pod. This is how stupid I am in case you ever find yourself under the mistaken impression that Ash is the brains of this organization. I was looking at the background that we all have. If you watch this on YouTube, you can see we all have like the same green screen type background or whatever. It's got like teacups and
Uh-huh.
books, and then it's got our logo, and then it has an image of the book that we're discussing. And every time we record, I change it to a new image of the book. And then I send that file to the other ladies, so we all have matching background. And as I've just done this, and we've even discussed, oh, do you guys have the file? No, here, let me send it again. Then I'm waiting for them to set up their recording, and I'm looking at our screens, and I go, oh my, I'm so stupid. I'm sorry. I go in my head, oh my God, how weird. We all picked the same picture of the book cover.
Oh my God. We literally, you guys had like a 5-minute thing about it too. That's so funny. Oh my God. Would you look at that?
I
We
could
all
have endured
decided.
that humiliation off camera, off recording, but I thought you guys all
I
deserved that.
love that you didn't. Thank you for informing us.
You're so welcome. Spoons, do you
You
want to
know,
tell us how life has been?
um, well, not too good. But
It sucks.
it sucks so bad. But I am I was very excited for this. As we know, it was one of my favorite books of recent memory. So it was really fun to reread it. So that's been really fun for me lately, rereading it and reliving it. And I'm probably going to read the second one again, honestly, before the third one comes out. And then what else? Oh, I sewed a very cute dress the other day.
Oh, yes, you did.
And I rewatched all of the Anne of Green Gables miniseries and I made raspberry cordial. And that was
Oh,
delicious. So we should all be making raspberry cordial and thinking about Anne of Green Gables whenever we can, I think, and it would make us
half of
happier.
that sounds so fun. I'm so down for half of that. Copious amounts of half of that.
Hey, and yeah. So that's been me lately.
Not a fan of Anne of Green Gables there, Wheezy.
It's boring.
Okay, well, you're completely wrong. And so interesting to be that incorrect, but it's
Wow,
okay.
bold of you to be so openly incorrect.
My
Uh,
so I went to I majored in musical theater in college, and I had this theater, our actual like, because we have music and everything, different teachers, but our actual like theater professor would always say she was not British, but she had a British bit to her, kind of the way she
Uh-huh.
spoke, but she'd always go, "That was a very bold choice. Wrong, but bold."
Wow.
That is so funny.
Very
So
I
bold
really like
my
choice.
that.
my
I'm gonna
friends
start
and I,
utilizing that.
we say it all the time, and I haven't, I mean, been in that school for, I don't know, 13 years or something, but she go, "That was a very bold choice. Wrong, but bold."
She sounds like the theater teacher from High School Musical.
I was just gonna say that sounds like Miss Darvis. That's so
Yes.
funny. Oh
She's
Oh my
my
much more
gosh.
reserved than that, but
hmm
very,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um,
The Winter Musical. Yeah, that's so. I'm
Bold,
gonna start
but
saying that.
wrong. Oh, that's really funny.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, who else? What's going on?
Gino.
Well, I'm not going to talk about my favorite topic because I've decided I'm boring. Um, so I'm going to say about
Talking
that
about
is that,
birds.
yeah,
You were going to talk about birds.
no, I'm going to say is that they still exist and they're stressing me out and we're not talking about them.
Okay.
Um, but let's see. Oh, I got some scale mail today.
Is that a
Um,
mermaid thing?
yeah, I got a new
Sweet.
tail.
That was
Um,
loud. How
Scale mail.
exciting.
Y'all are on another level. I love
I was like, it's either mermaids or she's suddenly really into lizards. Like, I don't know.
it.
Scale mail. That's adorable.
What? Tell
Uh,
us about the tail.
Yeah.
um, I don't know if you know this one, Ash, but it's the Dead Men Tell No Tales. The Finfolk tale. So
Was it the
it
December
looks
one?
like, no, it's like Halloween one. It looks like a skeleton, a tail skeleton.
Yes, I know. Yep. Yep. Very
So I
cool.
ordered
That's
that
cute.
like in September, and then it came today, and I had to go out to the mailbox in. It's 20 degrees warmer right now than it was this morning, and it's 8 degrees outside. So,
Oh my
No.
gosh.
so I had to go
No.
out to the mailbox to get it. Last night, I got the notification that it was here, and I like opened the door, and it wasn't there. And I was like, "They're lying." And I looked at it again. It was like in mailbox, and I was like, "Nope."
I don't think so.
I've
I will
I've
get it
waited.
tomorrow.
I've waited 4 months. I can wait one more day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you
Um,
gotta send me a pic of that. I want to see
Yeah,
it.
I want pictures
I
of that too.
shall.
That's
And
exciting.
then I have been, I'm getting my yoga teacher certification. So I've been working on
Whoa.
those classes.
She's so athletic.
And
That's awesome.
I'm also have been studying for my New York tour guide license. So I've just been studying a lot.
Crazy.
I feel like I'm in school. I'm like using this whole part of my brain I haven't used in forever, trying to memorize all this stuff.
That is so
So,
Wow.
cool though. I love that.
That is cool. So
uh,
Dang.
specifically you. I'm so proud of you. That's awesome.
Yeah, way to go.
Look at you
thanks. Although
going
today
for
was
it.
a potato day. Like today I tried. I tried. Do you ever like yesterday I was so productive
hmm
and so successful and everything that today I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna stare at the wall all day.
You have to
Not
balance it
by
out.
cho I was like not by choice. And it wasn't even like I'm too tired to do anything. It was just like I couldn't. Like I was just
Yeah.
it was a potato
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Um I
Sometimes it
used
happens. You gotta recharge.
Although I
yeah.
have to say I've never looked that cute on a potato day before. Feels a
Yeah.
little
This
bit
this
unfair,
was
Screw
but
you.
get her.
Anyways, how's it going, Wheezy? What's up with you?
Well, let's see. I've been spending so much time on social media lately because we're having a writing retreat May 1st
Oh
through
my
4th.
gosh, yeah, I forgot
So,
to say that.
I mean, I wasn't actually even intending to say this right now. I probably would have forgotten until the very end, but it is exciting. We're doing a writing retreat, the first ever Story Siren Studio writing retreat, planned by master event planner Marissa Yoki. And that's Gino,
Yay.
if you guys aren't familiar with her actual name. I know we don't typically use it.
Yeah,
I
I
know
was
Are
I
like,
you
don't.
familiar
shh,
with her
don't
work?
tell them.
Yeah.
Cut it out. Leave it out.
Shh. Anyways, well, she does not reside in Texas, and she wants everyone to know that. But she doesn't want them to know where she does reside. I'm pretty sure it's like in the fairy realms at this point, especially with all of the
Oh my
snow outside.
God.
Like, she
She's
for
a
real could be, though.
Uselender.
She is a Uslander. Oh my God, I can see that so easily.
I
Um,
mean, it's so cold.
well, that's gonna be like absolutely occupying my brain now. Wow. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think of that before.
I mean,
Or
what?
your like wood chopping skills. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was fully expecting someone to jump in. And
No, I was too. I don't know. I was like, someone's gonna have something funny to say about that, but no.
that was my only funny thing to say, and then it was not funny.
No, I
Okay.
just can't answer because I can't give you too much information. So
Right, right, right.
Gotcha.
That would reveal too much.
Right,
yeah,
Okay. I
exactly,
see. I
that's
exactly.
see.
so
But
like
back
Yeah.
to the writing retreat, there
Mum's
will
the
not be
word.
wood chopping because it will be happening in May in Texas. But also, if you guys are not from Texas and you're afraid, don't worry, May is not painfully hot. I say that although every single time Gino has come to see me, it's been like unseasonably hot weather. Like I've warned her it's going to be
I
hot when
was
you're here. And then it's like the worst. It's
I
even
was
worse.
going through my photos today, deleting them just because that I was like, oh, this is productive from my phone. And I found one from when I was there that I took of a just like random temperature sign out in the world. I had your car and it was 109 degrees. And I took a photo. I was like, what is this
Yeah.
nonsense? I will take -14 over 109 every day. Just put that
That
on the
is
record.
crazy. That is so
I
I mean,
don't
I'm so
know.
glad people like you exist. You know, we need
Yeah.
people to populate those areas. It will never be me. I could not be me.
I don't like either. I don't want either of them. I'm Goldilocks. This isn't
I would yeah,
That's
no,
too hot.
no.
That's too cold. This is
Stop.
just right.
I
I'm gonna
love being
complain no matter
inside.
what. I love it inside. Actually, I love to
Woo!
be outside. I just am unhappy. That might just be a personality flaw. I don't know.
You're like, maybe this is just my constant state of being.
Maybe this is just who I am, actually. Yeah, but the writing retreat, it's happening. You guys can go to storysirenstudio.com/retreats. If you guys want to go and either learn more about it or apply for it, it is free to apply. Obviously, it is not free to go, but what you do pay, it is all inclusive. So that includes gourmet meals and 4 days, 3 nights of super fun space to write in a beautiful location. And we'll probably do some cool activities. There's going to be exclusive merch that only people who go will get. And it's going to be really fun. There's more. I'm sure that there's more on the thing. But all of this to say, yes, please go sign up. We would love to hear from you. And also, I've spent so much time on social media and I don't like social media. Don't get me wrong, people. I know I'm on there. It seems like I'm on there a lot more than I am too. I hate it. I hate it at the job I get paid to do. I hate it for the podcast. I hate social media. And then just to
Guys,
reinforce how much I hate it, I was on Facebook today, which is a whole different set of people that are obnoxious in a different way. And in one of the writing groups that we are a part of, I posted about the retreat. And of course, it mentions that it's in Texas this year and immediately got comments that were like, Texas? I can't think of a single woman who would ever set foot in Texas. I was like, what? The
like, well, I
crazy thing
do
to
live here,
say.
so thanks so much.
I was like, very odd. This is only the
That's why I
biggest state
just
in the country.
that's
Well,
why I just
So,
hover. My feet aren't set there. I just hover
yeah,
above the ground.
I've never
it
actually
just
put
like
my
makes
feet down.
I don't know. And I was talking about this with you on on text, Ash, but pisses me off, you guys. Listen, I don't agree with all of the decisions made politically here either, okay? But
No,
it's literally like one of the most populous states, and you cannot write off a whole state just because you don't like the politics. There are a lot of people here who don't vote the way that the politics go. And also, you
yes.
should care about people regardless.
You
So
should
that's
care
kind of a
about people
shitty
based
take.
on individual morality and merits. And I would like to think we're past this. For some reason, we never get past this. But somebody else was like, lol, you couldn't pay me that much money to go to Texas. And I was like, well, then you're
Like,
stupid.
okay,
I'm
find more
sorry, money's
barbecue for
money.
us.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
fine.
listen, listen, I know that you're being trying to get me to move down there, and you can pay me a certain amount of money. I'm just saying that,
You're
putting
like,
that on the table.
there is a
Like, there is a
price.
price.
It's like,
Thanks. Oh, that was funny.
That was really
There
good.
is a
Yeah,
prize.
there is a prize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that'll be fun, you guys. Gino is literally an expert planner. So
Yeah. So
And
this
so
is
yeah,
gonna be
we
nice.
there's
awesome.
this one May 1st through the 4th, and there's still like a couple of spots open for that, so definitely apply. But if you can't do that one, we are probably gonna have one in the fall as well. And
Yes.
that one may or may not be in Texas, or it may be in like
Maybe somewhere
someplace
else.
more
Somewhere that's
snowy
prettier
and
in the
mountainous.
fall. The
Yeah.
idea was because we had more people who like were in this region who wanted to go to this one, we would do it in Texas. And then hopefully for the next one, then we'll have more interest, so we'll be able to do it, you know. And we'll be able to like offer it much more like much farther in advance. And so we'll be able to get more people on board and it'll be awesome. But if you guys want to hear about that one and you just know you can't do the spring one, then email or reach out, message us, whatever, and we'll add you to our email list. I've been doing that for people. But if you also want to go to the spring one, we would love to have you at both. So literally no reason not to. Can't think of a
Yes.
single one.
Absolutely.
Even if you are a woman who's for some reason afraid to step foot in Texas.
We'll be nice to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously. I was like, I don't know. I've lived a few different places in the country, and I can say for a fact of all my experiences, people are not as friendly everywhere. Not that everyone in Texas is friendly, but there is a general belief in the importance of etiquette here. So they'll just talk bad about you
Yeah.
behind your back. No one's going to be mean to you.
They'll
They're
just
definitely
make bad
safe.
policies about you and talk about you behind your back, but to your
Yeah,
face, be really
To be
nice.
fair,
And
yeah,
to be
you'll be
fair,
fine.
yeah,
anymore, that's every state at this point. Like,
yeah,
there are
yeah.
very few that's not an issue.
Yeah. So, anyways, it was just funny. And to my shock, because usually Spoons just says something like clever and lighthearted to the haters, she was like, I think I hate them or something to that effect. And I was like, I'm really enjoying this energy from you.
Well, as I said, I've it's not been good for me lately, so I was immediately like, screw that. I'm so mad at them.
You were like, I don't give a fuck. You were
I
just like,
did
I
say
do
that.
care.
I was trying to
Like,
be more
yes, this is
PG in
nice.
my recollect. Well, the thing is, I'm getting so mean, you guys. I'm way meaner now than I used to be when I was younger. I'm just mean all the time and angry and mean and
Yeah, I
bitter
believe
and
that for
like
sure.
I'll just beat anyone up and don't even look at me sideways. I'll beat you up. That's how I am now. So
See, the thing
everyone look
is,
out.
I love this
That's kind of
energy
where
from
I'm at.
you. It's kind of like the little pop guns, like they're wooden and they have a cork in the end and you pop them. It kind of feels like that because it's so freaking cute, first of all.
So I'm
And
gonna have to
also,
beat you up for that. I'm sorry.
I know, I know. Honestly, I would be honored. I would be so honored if you would.
Oh,
But
I
uh,
would
but part of me is
never.
always like the do not comply, let's get in a fight part of me is like, yeah, yeah, like really liking your aggression, but then at the same time, because I know you, I'm like, oh, are you okay? I literally had to be like, I was like, this is great. What has gotten into you, Kendall? I'm loving this. And then I was like, wait, are you good? Are we? I
She
maybe I
literally was
should.
like, "Are you okay?" Heart emoji. It was
After I'd
very
been like,
kind.
yes.
It's like, yes, bitch, fuck it up. Anyway,
Yep, exactly.
well,
Uh,
So that was very funny.
let's. What else? Anything else you were gonna say, or should we
I'll
talk about
talk
the book?
about birds because Gino didn't. I feel like
Oh,
there's a bird void. There was like 10 cardinals in my yard earlier. That is not an exaggeration. I threw out some seed because there was a bunch of doves trying to get into the chicken coop, and I was like, oh, they're hungry because of the snow. They can't find their food. This is Texas. They don't know what's happening. They haven't been alive long enough to see the
they're
snow.
like, please, I am but a baby.
And so
Please.
I threw out a bunch of seed, and there was just like, I had no idea we had so many doves on the property. So all of the doves were just like swarming around the chicken coop, eating the seeds. And I was like, cool. And then today, all of a sudden, Hubby was like, oh, look, a cardinal. Oh, another cardinal. Another cardinal. And then they were just like everywhere. It was crazy. I was like, all these cardinals also didn't know that we had. So that's
Oh
just
my
filling to
god.
fill the bird void. There've been so many birds. And I went out there today and was like, oh, I'm gonna give them some more seed. Like threw out some more seed. The organic seed I buy for
Aw.
my chickens who make eggs for us to the birds
Right,
that
right.
contribute nothing.
But they are lovely to look at,
They are.
and
they
that counts for
contribute to the
something.
ecosystem.
Yes. And to the beauty. And they're adorable. And I
They
did actually
do.
I did catch a dove in my hand the other day because it had gotten itself stuck in the chicken coop. I guess it tried to go like under. There's like a little gap where it can kind of go under. And I guess it was really hungry. So it got itself in
Oh,
there and it couldn't
baby.
get out. And so I like lifted it a little bit and I caught the dove And then freaking Ruby was like, I want to eat it. I want to eat it.
Oh,
I want
Miss
to eat it. Let me,
Cinderella.
let me. And so I, it was what it felt like. And so I kind of like shooed her off, which didn't work. And finally, I just threw the dove really high in the air and prayed for the best. And it flew away into the trees unharmed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You are like Cinderella
Oh,
or
thank
Snow
you.
White
I'll take
or one of
Cinderella
those
Any
because of
one of
the
those
princess.
ladies.
telling, but I'll take Cinderella because Snow White's annoying.
Oh, that's
I
true. Oh my God, that's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, so my really quick, my friend just sent me this video on Instagram or something the other day that someone took the animated Cinderella, like one of the scenes in it, and voiced it over with Cinderella having the biggest attitude. Like she like wakes up and she's like, "Oh, another fucking day." And like she's like, "But that's okay because today is the day." And then she like goes down and she's carrying the tea. She's like, "The day I'm gonna kill all of my stepmothers and sisters." And like it was
Oh my
great.
gosh.
And
God,
Cinderella's my favorite princess, so
that's so
That is
funny. She's
so
great. I love
funny.
her. I've always loved
Yeah,
her.
same.
She's
Do we
iconic.
want to introduce the drink for
I
this
was just
book?
Oh
gonna say I want
yes.
to address
Marissa,
this.
do the drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know if
I
y'all have, but
I made it last night and today. I was
She's
really
like, I have
into it.
fully
so
drank
it
a whole
must be
cup of it already.
good.
I didn't.
You guys
I didn't have anything, and
stop
it was
doing that.
I couldn't get the ingredients I
So,
needed because this roads were icy and everything shuts down in Texas if the weather's below 30. So I have Sprite
Yeah, yeah.
and blue curacao and Cool Whip, and it's frosty delicious.
And look how cute that is. It
It's
looks like a
adorable.
winter wonderland in there.
It does, and I did have blueberries on top,
so
but
Ugh, delish.
our drink is inspired by our book as per usual, and having a very British main character, I thought we should have something British-esque. So this is gin, dry gin, elderflower liqueur, um, black tea, which I have English breakfast, I think, or is it Earl Grey?
Yeah.
I don't know, one of them. I had to text my neighbor because I don't drink black tea, and I was like, "Do you have any like English breakfast tea or anything?" She was like, "Come get it." So then I had tea with her for 2 hours this afternoon.
Aww.
so
And if
sweet.
she's listening, hi. Because I did tell
Hello.
her the podcast. So
Hello,
Oh,
sweet neighbor.
hello. Thank you for sharing your
um
tea. We would love to have tea with
Yeah, thank you so
you. This is so
much.
sweet. Let's bring
lemon
back tea
juice,
time.
lemon juice and chilled water. I did
Ooh.
not add the like sea salt water at the end it said you could add.
Neither did I. I was
Okay.
nervous about that.
Yeah. So
But
I'm
yeah.
like, that
I'm
sounds like the
gonna
best
try it.
part, you guys.
Okay.
That's really good.
It's good, right? You did
Yeah.
a good job picking because I
Wow.
anything that's so funny that I know we said this in the chat, but I was literally thinking about what should the drink be this time. Then I was like, well, Marissa will probably have a good one. But then I was like, I hope that whatever we do, maybe it should have elderflower liqueur in it. And then the first one you sent had it in there, and I was like, this is so perfect.
I know.
Literally,
I
Gino
felt
was
like it
like, I
it
had
just
like
like really
three.
fit well.
Yeah. You had like three options you said, and
We
you
were
said the
like the
first time
first
we were
one.
like, mm-mm, that's it. I actually did think that
Yeah.
I foolishly thought I
Um
was going to actually be able to make the drink this time. I didn't. But we
I
will post the
I don't think
recipe
you've
for
ever
y'all.
made any of the ones I've come up with.
I don't think so.
Um
Yeah,
spoons.
we'll post it. Mhm.
This
Oh,
oh, I don't
cheers.
know if you can see.
Oh, I thought you were choosing me.
Oh, cheers.
Here at the Green Dragon. Woo!
I got this
Keep
from
your fancy
Hobbiton in New
ales.
Zealand.
Oh my God, which I'm going to.
I
Okay,
know,
you
that's why I
have to
was
give
like,
me your New Zealand tips.
okay. I
Okay.
was don't try to walk the whole length of it. That's my first tip. Um,
Okay.
'Cause that's what I did. Anyways, but
Yeah,
I'll give this
just
to you
let me
later.
know. Thanks.
She's like, gotta cross that
That's
one
so
off the
fun.
top of my list. Don't walk the length of New
Don't
Zealand.
walk. Dang it. Don't walk the whole entire length of the country. Okay, got it. Keeping that
Oh
one in
my
the old
God.
noggin.
Oh my gosh. That's
Okay, should we do the
excellent.
book? You guys, I'm
Yes.
Yes,
so
yes,
excited
yes.
to do the book.
You're like, can we please?
It's
Can we
only
please?
been 24 minutes.
Do we honestly for us
Well,
this is not bad.
author.
Yeah, author, and
It's
then
not
we'll do
that
first
bad. You guys
impressions.
should go listen to Persuasion if you
Was
guys
it
want to hear
yeah.
one where we talk about nothing the whole time. I
Yeah.
think it
Our
was
most
Persuasion.
I think it was too. It was our most or maybe Northern Jarabi. I don't know.
We
It was our
lost like
most
many followers over that.
it's so bad.
Who cares?
I don't care. They can go
You're
hang out
like,
with
this
those
is when we
Texas
started
haters.
skip notes.
I think we did them
They
already.
were
Oh yeah,
like,
we
I'm
did
sorry,
because
they
I was
talk
like,
way too much.
yeah, and we're not going to stop. That's our whole thing. Okay, so Heather
We
Fawcett,
can skip
Fawcett.
it.
I don't know how we say her last name, the author.
Heather.
I would
I
say
just say
Fawcett, probably.
Fawcett.
Fawcett.
Farrah Fawcett,
Heather,
Heather
whatever.
Fawcett.
Oh, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah. So if anyone wants to learn about her, she does have a heatherfawcettbooks.com, which I love. But it is quite
She also has a very
sparse.
cute Instagram.
Oh,
Sparse.
does she?
She posts a lot of fan art of Emily and Wendell.
Really? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Oh,
I have
need
to
to
look
check
at
that
it.
out.
She's so cute. She seems lovely. And one time I did, okay, I have to admit this. After I read the first one in like late 2023, and then I read the second one when it came out last January. And after I read the second one, I was so overcome with love for her and the series that I emailed her a very long email about this is
Aw.
the best thing in the world. I love it so much. And I was like going on and on and on. Of course, I mean, I did not expect an email back, but I was always like, man, that's so embarrassing when I think back on it.
So she
No,
didn't
that's
email you
Because I
back.
went way too hard with that email. No, but
There's
she's
no
like a
such thing.
best-selling author. I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah.
It was totally fine. I was not expecting. I just wanted her to know that I love her.
How much?
Anyway, but she lives in Canada.
Yeah.
She's a
Yep.
Canadian. She
It's
lives
her
in
only flaw.
Vancouver Island. Isn't that cute? No, I've been
just
wanting to go to
kidding.
Canada. Well, hence Anne of Green Gables. I've been thinking about
yeah.
Canada.
You ruined it. But yeah.
But she seems so lovely.
She
Have you guys read any of her other books?
No. So, no. I'll get into that.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Well, it has part to do with my first impressions.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, well, tell us her birthday though, because you found out her birthday.
Yeah.
Well, I surmised it from the universe, and it's January 5th.
Whoop, whoop. Capricorn
Ooh.
Queen, Capricorn
Yeah.
Queen, Heather Fawcett. I would say probably Emily is also a Capricorn Queen. That's what I'm thinking.
Yes. Is that because you're also a Capricorn queen?
Well, yes, of course. I want everyone to like
You're
me,
like,
but-
obviously, yes. No, that's
No,
main
but just
character
I
energy.
surmised this from the universe that Emily Wilde.
I think you're correct, actually.
All that.
I feel like you're definitely correct about that. I can totally see that. And Wendell is a Gemini. I feel strongly.
Oh,
I was gonna say that.
1000%.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I feel like probably a lot of Fae are, or maybe just all Geminis are Fae, like all human Geminis
They're all like
that
they're
we think are human.
proportionately born.
Yes,
They're actually Fae. Oh
they're
my
actually
God.
Fae.
Phil is a Gemini.
Inconstant creatures.
We were just talking
Ridiculous.
about the whitewashed jeans, shirtless mullet, shotgun in hand, chasing away the coyote incident. So it's not a bad example.
Yeah, I just found out about that and I'm
Oh, I was
obsessed
like,
with it.
who's we? What do you mean we're talking about?
I
It's
surmised
me
that
and
from the
Spoon.
universe. I knew it happened. I just found
She was like,
out.
"What's going on?" I was like, "Phil is helping her." You know, Phil. And then like the first thing that comes to mind every time I think about Phil, which is that story.
I wonder if he was listening to that while he was trying to get the audio on. Because I don't think he has any idea I told that story, but yeah.
That is
Whoops.
hilarious.
Hi, Phil.
Only all of the internet knows. Not that many people, okay? Okay,
Don't
so
worry, it's fine.
Heather Fawcett,
else
we were
about
just saying, she has
Heather?
like the best like educational background. She has a master's degree in English Lit and a bachelor's degree in archaeology, which not only makes a ton of sense for the book and the way
Incredible.
that it's written, but is like, okay, well, live our dream, I assume. I mean, my dream, probably else too. I assume most people.
Fine, why don't you?
Why don't you just? And she did. She's doing
Yes.
great at it. She's really thriving, living my dream. But
I
yes,
am so happy for her. Good for her.
yeah. I guess I'll drop my personal sort of anecdote here because that it reminded me of like when I said that previously when I was before we started recording, and I was like, "Oh my God, archaeology!" And you guys were both like, "Yes, we know. We've already done our jobs." They were like, "Yeah, that's not news to us."
Say
Um,
it like that.
it's true. And then Gina was like, "Well, you can really tell by the way that like she writes the book, which is so true." Because I have been like geekishly hobby obsessed with archaeology for most of my life. And I have, and of course, Irish folklore as a separate but connected obsession. And I have a whole shelf, my bookshelf, it's like a whole shelf that's just like folklore. And a lot of them are like really old books that I've just like
Yeah.
thrifted. And some of them are like new collections of really old folk stories, like the exact ones that Emily Wilde references throughout. And so it was super weird because reading the book, she would like then be like, much like this story told by, some group of people about these, mischievous fae in Ireland. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's like reading one of those little books. Like it's so freaky because
Oh
like
my
when you read the
God.
collections of stories of like supposed like interactions with the Fae, like it's not like exactly like reading a short story. It's like a very unique genre of work. It's very hard to describe, but
Mhm.
it was so familiar. She like totally nailed it. I was like, I feel exactly like I'm just like browsing my shelf of Irish folklore because it's also like they're also part like
That's so
historical.
cool.
Yeah. So that was
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, I love that. I love that they're real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some of those like weird stories are so like the way they're told is very like almost like nonsensey. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
the fairy tale aspect of them. It's like this is not a
Yeah.
normal narrative, but it's
But
okay.
people like
That's
legitimately
so
believe
interesting.
them. And like these are stories that were like passed down. It's crazy. It was very familiar. And I'm so glad that she wrote this book. No one
I
could have
love
done a
it.
better job.
She did excellent. Excellent work.
Is there anything else
Okay, should
about
we do first
Heather?
impressions?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sorry, guys. I have a lag. So
Okay.
Gino, please say you have a
Anyway,
first
First
impression.
impressions. Yes, I do. Okay. So I picked this book. I did not know that Spoons had read it and loved it. I found a list of cozy books. Like it was just books that like had a cozy feel to them. And Howl's Moving Castle was on that, and I was like, I really like that. And I've just recently read a lot of like more intense books, so a cozy book sounds good.
hmm
And so I picked that one, and then I texted Ash and I was like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And she's like, "Oh my gosh, that's Kendall's like favorite book." And I was like, "Perfect."
It worked
Um,
out.
Yeah.
yeah. So I picked it because it was cozy and I had like kind of expectations of the vibe for it to be similar-ish to Howl's, like not in the sense of the story at all sort of thing, but that same like
I mean,
not
Hal and
like an
Wendell
intense
have
romance
some,
or high fantasy, but like
yeah.
they do have
They do.
similarities,
I was
don't
thinking
they?
that too.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and then the cover was just the cover that you have is different than the cover that I had, but like the cover was just
Same.
like super cute. So I was like,
Yeah.
this seems like a
I have the
super
normal
cute book.
one.
Is it that one?
That's my thought.
Yes. That one is so cute.
Yes, that's
I
the one.
think this is the normal one. The one that
There's
Spoons
like
took a picture of
several.
is like special, I think. I don't
I
know.
think that mine might be like, I don't know what mine is. But okay, actually, my. Oh, wait, sorry. Are you done with your first
Yes,
impression?
I'm
All
good.
right. Okay. I'll transition then. Because my first impression was I actually bought this book from a small bookstore in Dripping Springs, Texas. Shout out Sunday Books. Um,
Aw.
and I saw the cover and was like, this is so cute. And I bought it for Ash's mom for her wedding shower because
Oh
we were
my
all giving
gosh.
her books.
So sweet.
And Ash's mother loves the Fae. And
Hmm.
so I was like, this could be so cute because the cover was so cute. And then I was intrigued by the description. So I was like, this sounds good. So anyway, I got it for my aunt. And then I was like, actually, I want to read it too. So I got my own copy. And so that's how my first impression was adorable cover. And I was immediately drawn in by the premise. I was like, hold on, they're academic rivals, but best friends. I'm in. And there's Faye. I was like
My
so
gosh.
into it.
That is so you.
So anyway, that was my first impression. I was really, and then I loved it so much. But yeah, I thought the idea was very cute.
That's
Wheezy.
awesome. My first impression was, I don't know. I had doubts. I was like, love the name, the very fascinating. What if this is boring? Because I guess, I don't even know what my standards are. I just know that they're very specific and I can't even name them myself. But when it comes to like fae and like fairy stories, like very high and specific standards. So I was like, I feel like this might be a letdown. I don't know. But then when Spoons was like, no, I love it so much, I was like, well, she's never been wrong before. So maybe there's something to it.
That is not even true. You
Except
just
for
like
Dickens.
plenty of books I like.
Oh, that's true. I'm sorry, not classics.
But thank you for
never
having faith in me.
you've never been wrong about
Yeah.
not classics. Your taste in classics is
Okay,
dubious.
I see.
Anne of
Well,
Green Gables, Charles
You know,
Dickens.
that's
We can
just
get
like
into
your
that.
opinion, man.
Is it? Is it just my opinion?
That's a bold choice. Wrong, but bold.
Wrong, but bold.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
But
So that was
that
my
is
first
sweet of you to think,
impression.
though.
Yes.
I love
Well,
it.
it was
Let's
true.
dig in.
Yeah.
Who's gonna do it?
I
I mean-
honestly was gonna hand it over to Spoons.
I will gladly do it, but I usually don't get to do it when it's not a classic, so I wasn't gonna interject. But
Oh. Well, we can. Is my tongue blue?
we'll all just
It
say
is a little
stuff
blue.
if we were to remember.
Sounds good.
Okay, basically, so Dr. Emily Wilde is a professor of dryadology at Cambridge.
Just saying, Spoons is also a doctor, Dr. Spoons Palermo, and it is doctor
that's
to
true.
all of you.
I am a doctor.
What do we think you
Oh
and Emily
my
have in
God.
common?
Oh my God, we're like twins. No, so she's so much
That's
smarter than me.
I totally pictured her hair color
so-
like yours. That's funny. I just realized that.
Oh, thank
And like
you.
the same length.
That's so nice. Oh, adorable.
Except my first impression of Emily when I was trying to kind of picture her was way older than she actually was.
Oh yes, she's like
Really?
She has a
She's
very
like
old, like, kind of
30.
soul. Yeah,
She
she's like 30 or
does.
32, and I was like, okay, this like 58-year-old woman.
She's like, don't bother me.
I was like,
I'm
she's
busy
probably
with my
19.
research.
I literally was like, she's probably 19 years old. I don't know.
Really? No. I was like,
She's 30. She is. So this book is set in like an alternate history kind of with, so it's like set in 1909, I believe, early 1900s. But in this world, fairies exist and it's like a thing that you can study at school. So Dr. Emily Wilde is a doctor of dryadology, the study of fairies at Cambridge University. And she is going to Useland, which I listened to the audiobook for this the first time around, so I like didn't know how anything was spelled, and so it was
Same.
crazy to me.
Excellent audiobook, by the way.
Oh,
It's
incredible.
freaking
I'm
good.
glad you know how everything is pronounced because I read it and I was like, oh, okay. And oh, and
Yeah.
her friend Kirscherberber.
Just-
And there's Kurderberderera.
Yeah, like it does look crazy. I've never known how Hravenspeak was actually like spelled.
Yeah, exactly. That's
but
what I'm saying. I read it.
There are like no vowels, so you just have to.
No.
Um,
Oh man.
So Emily is going to Hravenspeak, which is a town in the country of Useland, which is like this really kind of like Norway, like northern country, because she's going to study some fairies there who are called the Hidden Ones, and they're like the high fae of this region, and nobody really knows anything about them. And so Emily is putting together an encyclopedia of like all that she knows about fairies, which will be like a big deal when it's published, and she's very excited and stuff. But she is not like the best with people. She's very much into her academics and field research and
I think
stuff.
we can say it. She's not get the social cues.
Our girl Emily is very heavily implied to be autistic, I believe.
Very heavily.
So,
It's not veiled. We love her no less for it. It just actually makes her even more impressive. But it's like
this This is
So
why she's
obvious.
so good with the Fae, because the
Yeah.
Fae have historically always been autistic coded to me. So
I
they
mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
so our girly is doing her best, but so she ends up like living in this weird little cabin that some of the locals are like letting her stay in, and she kind of immediately makes a jumble of things by like not understanding their, hospitality expectations and stuff. And so she kind of
Just
gets off on the wrong
social
foot with them.
etiquette. And it's
Yeah,
not like
social
even weird
etiquette. And
social
she's
etiquette. It's like pretty normal, recognizable social etiquette.
it's
She's like,
like,
I
how
do
about you
not
like
get
let
it.
them be nice to you?
And she's like, why would I do
She's
that?
like,
I don't
absolutely not.
understand.
She's like, I don't.
And then later they're trying
Anyway,
to like
back
explain to
to my
her, like, do
research.
you understand why so and so is upset with you? And she's like, because of this other thing that I did. And they're like, hmm. We literally just talked about this.
So
Let's go
that's
one
not
more
it,
time.
Emily.
Let's go over it one more time.
So, one more time, Emily. She is, and so she's accompanied by her very large dog named Shadow.
I love Shadow.
And
That was loud. I love Shadow.
Shadow VIP MVP king of my heart. I love Shadow. So
I love a
Emily
giant roguish
very
dog.
quickly
It's like my Winnie dog, my big
you
outside
do,
doggy boy.
I was gonna say Shadow gives me Winnie vibes, like
Yeah, I could see
absolutely.
that.
Very
Yeah.
like kind of scruffy sweetheart who's
Yeah.
huge
Can
and he'll
accidentally
knock
be
you over, but not on
intimidating.
purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
All vibes, no thoughts.
Oh,
Unless he's doing
Winnie.
his job. And
Give
then
Winnie
he's
a
like, I
kiss for
got
me.
you. I will. He's such a good boy.
It's like, I'm so good. I'm the best boy in the world. Um, so dear Emily, kind of quickly, she gets a letter from her colleague, Dr. Wendell Bambleby, who is slowly
That's a
revealed to
name,
be,
by the way.
yes, incredible name. Immediately, I was like, I'm in.
Okay, but who
He, she,
okay, but Oscar Wilde. Okay, I'm so sorry. Do you remember that we said
what?
we would worship at the Temple of Algernon? Like Wendell Bambleby
Yes,
is essentially Algernon in so many ways. From The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. Even Bambleby, his last name, isn't Bambleby like what Algernon calls his like sick friend in the country who he made up so he can go to the country whenever he wants and get out of obligations in the city? Isn't it
oh
Bambleby?
God.
Or it's something like that.
I
Like I
have
think
no
it is.
idea. Something
Anyways,
ridiculous.
I was like,
We'll
okay,
have to
so
look that one up.
Algernon.
But you're right.
Algernon.
He is kind of Algernon coded. You're totally correct. I've never even thought of that. But yes, exactly. Oscar
Yep.
Wilde would love Dr. Wendell Bambleby. He
Oh,
would.
absolutely
Um
he would. He would love him. As we all do.
and so if you haven't, taken our basically Emily and Wendell are like opposites in that
Yes.
because Wendell is totally like outgoing and like kind of annoying and like
Charming.
Emma charming and like
Extrovert.
gorgeous and extrovert. Yeah. And so, but they are also like revealed to be like best friends. And they
So, well,
like
Emily
hang
Very
out all the
verifies
begrudgingly
time
on Emily's
at
side.
Cambridge. Yes.
he's her only
And
friend.
Emily,
So I guess they're
yes,
best
he's
friends.
her only friend.
She's like, he's my only friend, but I don't really want him to be my friend, but he's
But he
there, so
is.
we like hang out.
He's like, ugh. Anyway. And so while she's reading this freaking letter, she's like, oh, how annoying. And he drew a picture of me that's very flattering. Oh, I hate him. And then she tries to throw it in the fire and it won't burn. And she's like, oh, how annoying. Well, it's because he's Fae. I'm very positive he's Fae. And it's
I
like,
just know it.
Emily, what are you talking about? Like, she is so crazy the way she'll just reveal things very casually. And I'm like, so what do you mean you think that he's like folk? And she's like, well, he never touches metal and he's very beautiful. And she's like, has all these reasons. And I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. So
She does. All of
yes.
the like
So
important things she just like throws out there. And then like the stuff that's not very
yeah,
important, she's like, could they possibly have meant this thing? And you're like, Emily.
or she'll be like citing things like, well, Danielle de Grey's report in the 1857, like, and you're like, okay, like, what about Bambleby being a fairy?
Fae.
Like, that's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
She's so insane. I love her so much. So Emily's like struggling kind of by herself, and then Wendell shows up with two students because he's like, I'm coming here to help you. And she's like, oh, probably just to save his reputation, his academic reputation, which he's ruined
Yeah.
because he always falsifies things. But he's also, they're like the same age, but he's like already like got tenure or something. So
Well,
she's
he's a
like kind of mad
man.
about that.
So
Yeah, he's a man and very
A
charming.
pretty
so
man.
charming. He's a pretty man
Pretty
who's
man.
extroverted.
I think he's actually a year younger than her, so I'd be mad
Yeah.
too. But and so they're all hanging out, and Wendell is so fussy, and like all his students just do everything for him when he goes on like field missions. And so together they kind of are like working through a couple of like leads that they have at in her Ravenspeak, where like Emily has become friends with a little brownie named Poe, who is my favorite character. Love Poe.
That's not shocking.
Um, and he's like this adorable little weird guy who has like little like scary skeleton fingers, and he like bakes her bread and lives in a little tree, and she like is nice to him, and I love Poe. And then also there's like a changeling child who lives in the town, and he like terrorizes his parents. And then there's also
Yeah.
a girl who was like kidnapped by the Fae like years ago, and now she is like totally brainless. And like anyway, there's a lot of going on in her Ravenspeak. And so they're kind of doing all this stuff, and then there is like a tree. Y'all jump in if you think I'm skipping something important, but I feel like the beginning is a little bit rambly. It's just like a lot of different things happening.
Yes.
So then there's like basically there's a legend about like this fairy king who is stuck in a tree, and they go out into the forest and find the tree. And Emily is like losing her mind because it's like, what an amazing discovery. And Wendell's like, okay, don't get too close to it. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, of course I'm gonna get close to it. And he's like, Emily, I really think you should back away from the tree now. And she's like, oh, be quiet. And of course, the tree like tries to kill them, and then also
He tries
Emily...
to magic her, which I was like, ooh.
he tries to magic her.
Because he has this thing, and because she's been on so many field missions, and she's such an expert in her field, she's come to be able to recognize like when Fae are trying to like enchant you. And so she's got ways of sort of like mentally steeling herself against it, like resisting the enchantment. And she is especially annoyed because she has never felt like Wendell has tried to like enchant her before the way that she's seen him do with other people. But he says like very, instead of like not jokingly, he's totally seriously, he's like, Emily, come here, while she's doing the, and I was like, oh, something bad is going to happen. And instead of Emily also thinking that, she was like, oh, how dare he? How dare he try to do that to me? And then she, as she's trying to collect like a little specimen of the tree to take back for her work, because it's all about her work. Oh my God. Her finger accidentally brushes the tree. And so she's like, uh-oh. Basically immediately like, well, I'm effed now. Shouldn't have done that. And she's like, at first she's like, I'm not going to tell Wendell. He's just going to make fun of me. And then come to find out, she's like, oh, I actually can't. Because also, like a lot of like folklore, like when you've been cursed, part of the curse is that you can't tell anyone that you're cursed. And so this is true for her. And this was also true for why Wendell was not like couldn't ever tell her directly that he was Fae. Like he wasn't hiding it, but he'd been exiled, and part of that was that he couldn't tell her like that he was Fae and he'd been exiled.
Yeah.
She had to like come to it on her own, which she did. But yeah, then the tree tries to eat Wendell. And it was very funny, actually.
To eat him. It's hilarious because she is like trying to figure out how to save him, and he's like, will you be quiet for 1 second? I'm really trying to like lock in here. They're so crazy together. I'm obsessed with them.
Yep.
But yeah, they get out of that, and she's like, okay, yeah, you're. So basically, then it is like confirmed. Yes, he is a fairy prince, because Poe was like already told her that he was a prince, and she was like,
yeah,
he never told me. So Wendell is like a fairy prince from this Irish fairy kingdom that is like known for being really scary. Yeah. And she's like, how interesting. Like that's her primary thing. She's like, this is fascinating. She's not like, I'm scared of him. She's like, oh, Wendell, interesting.
She's like,
Um,
well, I still find him intolerable.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed.
God, she is so nuts. I love her.
She really
Um,
is.
yeah, dear God. And so then she's like, well, perhaps you can like help me out with this changeling child that has been terrorizing his family since you're so, high up in the Fae ranks, wink, wink. And he's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
He's like,
Wendell
I don't
is
like
very,
kids.
She's like, I hate
yeah.
them. Ugh, kids,
Emily,
ew.
don't. And
Don't make me
Emily,
help. Ah.
like, please, no. And Wendell is so like, by this point, the students have left because they've been scared off by this changeling.
I feel they left like 4 days in. They're like, okay, bye.
They're like,
Yeah.
nope.
Here's the thing. If I was one of their students at Cambridge, I'd be losing my mind. I'd be like, what do you mean they have breakfast together every day? Like, I'd be like, and he looks at her like that. Are you insane? I'd be
Right?
like placing bets with everybody and like when they're getting together.
You'd be so
Anyway,
invested. Oh yeah,
I would be
100%.
so invested. So together they like help this changeling child return to his family, and then I might be getting things mixed up on the order,
Oh,
but
I'm gonna have to pause it for a second. Are you playing with
okay.
your microphone? Is
Me?
someone touching it? I don't know. I hear like a lot of, it sounds like someone's touching their microphone a lot.
I'm not touching it. I was touching these
Okay.
speakers over here, but maybe,
Oh, the speakers.
Okay.
but
It's
they're
just
like
getting
way
like
over
a lot
here.
of feedback, whatever it
Okay,
is. So I just,
I will not touch
sorry to
anything.
knock you out of that.
Hands to yourself.
I'm like, what is it though? I feel like I don't know. I'm so fidgety. My friends keep freaking messaging me on here. Okay, where were we? What?
They return the changeling child
Yes, they do that. Uh,
in exchange for the human child. Because if you guys don't know how changelings work, by some like weird, I don't know where you've been, but clearly not really into Irish folklore and other types of folklore. Don't know what else you've all been doing with your life, having productive life and friendships.
you don't know what a changeling is? A
Good.
changeling
It's
is a fairy who gets replaced. So they steal your baby and give you a fairy baby instead.
Yes. So they
And
usually will take like a really beautiful, special human baby and they'll replace it with a really like typically ugly, foul-tempered, like just the worst kid ever. So obviously in the past, in real life, people were like, so how they would describe. Like this is something they would use to explain if they had like a really bad-natured kid. They'd be like, the fairies took my real kid. This one, not mine. Couldn't have come from my genes.
yeah, it's kind
Definitely
of
not.
messed up
It's
because they would
so
also
messed
use
up.
it to describe like kids who like had like autism and stuff
Oh
just
yeah,
because they were
no,
like
it's so
not
messed
fully
up.
like
Yeah.
reacting like the same way they would expect. So they're like, well, you must be from the fairies. And
Yep.
I guess
You're
that
not
means you
my
suck.
child. It's
Like,
so sad. Like the way
pretty
that like
crazy.
the the purpose of changelings in actual like historical folklore is like, quite tragic and sad. In
Yeah.
folklore, if you're just going to believe it without historical context, it's interesting. And
Oh,
as is in the
totally.
case of this book, which is, yeah, it's interesting. And the way that she describes it in the book is that the changeling's life is connected to the human child's life. So you can't, like, for example, kill one without killing the other. And so,
Hmm.
like, there's no getting rid of the changeling child without compromising the human child who's been taken. So,
Yeah, which is pretty interesting. And then also like this changeling was really bad tempered and would like show you like horrible visions of violence and like
he was
nasty
driving
stuff. It's like
his like adoptive parents crazy. Like they were like it was dangerous. They were like
Yeah,
going out in the middle of the night with
yeah, this
knives
kid
and like
sucked.
walking
but
by the cliffs.
Wendell was also like, but just like be nicer to him, and then he might not be as horrible. Like instead of
For
leaving him
real.
locked in the room, like
Yeah.
let him out
Yeah.
of.
Yeah. They were
So.
like, just
Yeah.
spoil him. He was literally like, just spoil the brat. It's all they want. I was the same way. And I was like, okay, well,
Like,
that
oh
explains some
my God.
things.
I don't think
Yeah.
was is the word there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's always been.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like Emily, when she first like talked to him, like stabbed him with like an iron nail and stuff, and then later she's like threatening to like burn this like doll that they
Like
got from
toy,
his
yeah.
world, and Wendell is so like Emily, like it's so mean, and
It's like that's
she's
really
like,
mean, but also kind of hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. He thinks that she is so hot, which is so cute to me. Like it's so adorable. Oh, they're so cute. She's like, I'd rather not talk to anyone and stay at home with my books. And he's like, incredible. I'm gonna stay
He's like,
too.
say less.
He's like, oh,
So
you are
cute when you
the
say that.
worst. I love you. Like that's kind of
For real. Anytime that she says or does anything where everyone else around her is just like blinking and like, what did she just what? He's like, it like sort of like cuts over and it's him and he's just like gazing at her adoringly. And I'm like,
The
okay.
audiobook reader's like voice for him is so good. I feel
Yes.
like in his beautiful little like, oh, Emily, like his little
Yeah,
Irish
his
brogue is
Irish.
so
Yes.
cute.
Ah,
The
I
way
love it.
he's like, my dear dragon, like he's so insane.
Yes.
Anyway, I love it
It's
so much.
amazing. He
Just
accepts her.
fangirling so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh my
am.
God. Well, I
I
texted you. I
love
was like,
him.
so I'm in love with Wendell Bambleby. I did paint my nails green for him specifically.
I saw those. They're so pretty.
Thank
They're
you. I did it
gorge.
for Wendell, for
It's
Wendell
all for
Bambleby.
Wendell, for Dr. Bambleby.
I hate to tell you this, but he's taken.
Yeah, I would never. It's all yours, Emily. I've
It's
never
true.
interfered
I
with my
can't get
friend
in the
Emily's
way.
love life like that. But
I wouldn't either. But he's great because he doesn't even like expect her to change. He like loves her even for
oh,
like and like there are some things about her personality that are just no way around it, like very inconvenient. And he like even times when I'm like, okay, now you're gonna like tell her what's up and be like, Emily, you are prioritizing the wrong things. He like never really loses his temper with her ever. He like gets a little exasperated occasionally, but he's just like, I know this is how you are, this is who you are, and I love you anyways. And he never once tries to like open her eyes to like grow out of these things. It's very
Yes.
sweet.
no,
Yes.
yeah, he's so sweet. But he's also like, he'll like say stuff. He'll be like, well, that's crazy or whatever. But like, not in like, just because they're so comfortable with each other, you
Yeah.
know, they're like best friends. So
Yeah.
they're
I mean, he
so,
regularly calls her a mad woman and nuts
yeah.
and like,
When she almost like chops his hand off when he was trying to chop wood.
oh my gosh.
Like, you
Yep.
have to get inside. And he's like, I'm not going to bleed any less inside, Emily. You mad woman. He's so mad.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
good.
yes.
Oh my
So
God.
after the changeling debacle, they like end up getting him back to his family and stuff. I think this is after. They get word that Lilia, who is one of like the town beauty who helped Emily chop wood,
She's
is
like the wood chopper for the town. She's like the
she is
woodcutter.
like the wood cutter. She
She
is
is
so good
also,
at cutting wood.
I feel like this is like Heather Fawcett did not in any way try to lean away from the
I
stereotype.
know. I knew what
Like,
you were
She was
gonna
like,
she
say.
she
is
is a
lesbian.
lesbian.
She is the woodcutter for the town.
She is hot and has muscles and is lesbian.
That's
Like,
exactly what it was. I was like,
okay,
okay, I
slay.
understand. Got
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I
And
see you,
so
Heather.
Lilia and her girlfriend from a different town, Margaret, get kidnapped by the fairies, basically. And so everyone's freaking out, and Emily's like, "Oh, this sucks." And Pimblebee's like, "Yeah, I guess." And she's like, "Well, should we do something about it?" And he's like, What do you care?" And she's like, "Well, I guess a lot of it is motivated by academic pursuits."
Yeah.
And she's
Yeah.
like, I mean,
She's like, I
yeah.
really 2% care, 98% am like, oh, this is interesting for her
Yes.
academically.
Absolutely. They're both like, I think this is why they work because both of their moral compasses are a little skewed. Like, he is
Yes.
fully a fairy. He does not have like human morality. Like,
No.
and he's very much like, I don't care. Like, this has nothing to do with me. But he cares about Emily. And Emily's like,
Yes.
well, we should probably go. I mean, mostly for
Mostly
like
because
the
I want to write
academic
about it
reasons,
in my paper,
but
but
partially
also,
because
yeah.
we can't let them
And
die.
they
And he's like, fine.
they bring out the best in each other, which is very sweet. That two people
They
with very
do.
weird moral compasses somehow make each other more moral together.
Yeah.
They do. And so they go on their little quest together with Shadow, of course.
He
And
he doesn't go with her though. She sneaks off while he's asleep, doesn't she?
no, this is when, well, they first leave
Uh,
together they're going together. And then she sneaks off when they're
Oh
already
yeah,
on their
okay.
trip.
Okay. Okay.
So when they go together, they're kind of hanging out, and Wendell is like fully like, I'm fine with being a fairy prince now. And because you already know about it. So
Oh
he's just like
yeah.
magicking like flowers and like trees to bloom and stuff. And she's like, oh, how annoying. But also you can tell she's like, I'm obsessed with him. And
Yep.
so then
Academically, of course.
academically, it's so interesting. Yeah. Um, so like this is when they stop and they're in the tent, and then Emily like leaves for some reason, and those like Bogles try and kill her,
Oh
and
yes.
Wendell comes to save her, and he like fully like scarily kills them very
Rips them to
dramatically and rips them
pieces.
apart. And she's like, thank you so much. And then has to go walk around for like 40 minutes because he scared her so bad, because she's like, so he is terrifying.
So he
And she
is,
comes
in
back.
fact, a fairy prince.
Yeah. And
Mm.
she comes back and he's like, darning socks because he is actually like 1/8 like what is it called?
Is it
Like common
Ihashi?
fae.
Is Ihashi
Yeah.
the common fae? Or is that
Yeah.
the fancy? It is?
Yes.
Okay.
So they're like these little Irish fairies who like clean things.
They're like
And so
household
he's
fairies. They're like
yes,
little helpful folk.
so he is kind of like obsessive about like tidying things up and making things homey and cute and like mending and tailoring things, which is so funny to me. So
Yeah.
he's like kind of obsessively tailoring something, and he's like, hey, so was that crazy, or like, did I scare you? I'm so sorry, like how embarrassing. And she's like, no, everything's fine. And he's like, okay, because I totally thought maybe that was weird. And she's like, it wasn't weird. And he's like, okay, great. And he's secretly like, that was the weirdest thing I've ever seen, and I'm freaking out. And so then
He's like, I thought I was gonna have to apologize and make it up to you, so I mended all your clothes. And she's like, you did what?
Why
Because
did
she's
you
like,
touch my clothes?
exactly. He's been like, those clothes you wear are ugly and they don't fit you. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. They serve their purposes exactly fine. That's all I've ever noticed about them. Don't touch my clothes. He's like made them fit her. And also because he's, magical and part Iha is like he's sort of like changed the actual nature of the fabric too. Like it's nicer, it
yeah.
looks prettier. Like and
Oh
she's
my
furious.
god.
And I just don't understand the fury. I'm like, that's fantastic.
He's like, it's tailored now to like fit my body correctly. You can see my curves. She's like, how dare he?
It literally said something like, now it's only a little bit loose on me. And I'm like, oh
I
my God.
know. My god, it's so funny.
Emily.
She is a mess. And he's always like, oh my god. He's so funny to me. The way he like has his little like needle and thread all the time.
It's so cute.
So she sneaks out then to go find them because she's kind of freaked out by his display. And she's like, I don't need him along with me if he's going to act crazy. Like, I need to be like fully knowing what's going on when I meet these courtly fae.
Yeah.
So she sneaks into like this weird little market that these courtly fae are having. And everything is very icy and like spooky. And Lily and Margaret are there, and she manages to like get them out, but then they're kind of wandering around halfway in fairy and halfway in the real world for like a while. And then Wendell finds them, but also this scary like lord finds them, this like fairy lord.
Yeah.
And he and Wendell get in a fight because he's like scary. And
Yeah.
Wendell ends up killing him, but he like, this is what kills me. He's like, oh yeah, I can just rewind time. It's just like one of my little fairy qualities that I have. So he like rewinds time like several times just so that he can cut the guy's head off more than once because he thought it was so fun.
Oh my
And
gosh.
Emily's like vomiting. It's like, and then
Oh
later
my
he's like, oh, that was
gosh.
crazy.
He
It's
gets
like,
a
that was
sword.
awesome.
He gets a sword because Emily cries him a sword of
Yes.
tears. She's like,
Because
"Oh,
she
in this one
remembers the
story, this
story.
happened, so I'm
Yeah.
just gonna cry a sword of tears."
Yeah.
Which is so cool. She's like,
Yeah.
what do you need? And he's like, a sword perhaps would be good.
Right, because he gives her the guy gives her a fairy cloak, and when you reach into the pocket, it gives you whatever you need. I mean, probably better if you're a fairy. She's just a
Yeah.
human, and so it's like a little bit stingy about it. But hypothetically, she could like reach into the pocket of the cloak and pull out, whatever she needs. So she's like, "What do you need?" And he's like, "I need to focus. I need you to stop talking to me." And then like a few minutes later, she's like, "I just need to know what you need." And I was like, oh, right, the cloak. Ah, gotcha, I gotcha. Also, I don't know if we've like made this clear, but like the setting for all of this is very snowy, cold, wintry, which was not the
It's
vibe that I
all
had
snow, yeah.
expected. Yeah, it's all snow. When I saw the cover, I thought it was going to be more like green, lush forest. It is like a not a wasteland, but like winter frozen. Ugh.
It's a
I mean,
little
beautiful,
sticky.
but
Yeah, it's
cold.
cold,
So,
cold, cold. And so Wendell hates that because he's from like a forest kingdom. And so he's always like, "Ugh, it's so freaking cold here. I hate it." And,
because
like
everything's black and white. I
complaining all
just
the
want the
time.
green back from my
He's like,
forest.
where's all the green?
And
Yeah,
he's
because
very,
Wendell desperately misses his home. And so he is trying to find fairy doorways back to his home. So that's kind of
because
his like ulterior motive.
he was banished by is it his stepmom
yeah.
essentially or something?
Yes.
Um, he was the youngest of a bunch of brothers, and she was like, "I'm gonna take the crown," and they all died, and then he was banished essentially so that she could
Yeah.
be queen.
Well, she
Yeah.
killed them all, and then he was
Yeah.
coronated king for one day because he was the
One
only one
day.
left. And then she
And then
banished him.
and he's like, yeah, when he just casually mentions, like, well,
It's
I'm
like
a fairy
technically
king
I'm a
too.
king, not a
Yeah.
prince.
She's like, what?
I like that one really did throw her for a loop. She was like, "What? What? Wait a minute!" And I was like,
He's like,
"To a king, you react, but when you were like just a fairy prince, eh."
I
whatever,
mean,
it's
same.
Bambleby.
Like, if a prince proposed to me, I'd be like, "Oh, you're a prince." But then a king, I'm like,
Only a
"Oh, okay,
prince?
sure."
Yeah, I think I'll hold
Princes
out
are
for
a
the
dime a
crown.
dozen. Like, excuse me. Oh my gosh. So they end up saving the girls and they go back and everyone loves them and they're like so excited. They're like, "Yeah, you guys are the best."
But they're
And
also still
soon
afraid of Wendell because he's like
yeah,
Fae, and they're like,
So
he's
we
crazy and
liked you
he's Fae."
before. Now we know that you're Fae, and we don't exactly trust you
we're
because the
not
thing about
sure what
Fae
to
is that you can't
do.
exactly trust them.
All
Yeah.
of our fae have been very scary up till now. So. But
Yeah.
they like what was killing me was when they try and like bring him gifts to like appease him because
Oh
they don't
yeah.
know what he wants. And he's like, "What am I supposed to do with all these mushrooms, Emily?" And she's like, "They're trying to be nice to you." And he's like, "I don't want these." And she's like, "Okay, I'll tell her stuff you might want." And so then
She
she
tells
gets
him things
them.
she wants. She's like,
Yeah.
I'd like," or he would like some chocolates and
Yeah.
Yeah, but he
That's so
loves
good.
the like silver needles, and it was killing me when he was like freaking out over the mirrors that they brought. He's like, "Oh,
Yes.
Emily, these are gorgeous," and he's like putting them everywhere, like trying to find out what's best. And she's
Hmm.
just like, he said that he was doing it for like the better part of an hour. He was
Yeah.
like putting them everywhere. So cute.
Yep. He's very
And
excited.
so soon after this, he basically is like, "Well, I am in love with you." And she's like, what?" And he's like,
So what do you
"Well,
want
I'm
me to
in
do
love
with
with
that
you."
information?
like she knew it the whole time, but she was like, "Why would you say that out loud?"
I
She's
know.
like, how dare you?
He's like, "Ah." But he's like, "Well, I mean, we could probably get married. Like, let's get married. I want to marry you." And he's like, "Ah." He's like kind of like mad at him, but
She,
also like not opposed
she's
really.
like, "Absolutely not," but let me think about it.
Yeah, for real. He's like, I'm not exactly hearing a no. And she's like, well, it's because I didn't say no. And he's like,
Because I didn't
awesome. So
exactly
there's
say
a
no.
chance.
You stand a chance. And she's like, it was so funny to me because she was like, "Oh, how dare he propose to me? Like, can you believe that?" And then 2 pages later, she's like, "Well, of course I do want to marry him, but like," and she's kind of annoyed.
It
Oh
is
my
so
God. And
funny.
so,
And again,
right.
he's so sweet. He's just like, you take your time, Emily. I know you would have
Yeah.
preferred if I had like scheduled a meeting to discuss this, that like a romantic spur of the moment proposal is not your style. You would have preferred me to make an appointment with you, but we didn't. This is where we are. You take your time. You get back to me. If you need to make like a pro and cons list, like I'm happy
I'm
to
pretty,
help
he
you.
literally says pro and con list, doesn't he? It's like, if
Something
you
like
need
that,
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
They're
Oh
so
my
cute.
gosh.
He's so
Yeah.
into her. It's so cute. And like what's funny is Emily acts like I mean, he is so annoying to her, but also like she's constantly like, "And he's so beautiful," and like talking
and
about how he's
she's like, but his
gorgeous
hair.
and kind and like how she likes spending time with him and all this stuff. And then she's like, "Oh, he's
Yeah.
the worst." I'm
It's
like,
like she
"Emily."
only has like strong feeling towards Bambleby. She's just put them all in the I'm annoyed category, but there's like so many subcategories in there, and she's
Yeah.
like, I will not acknowledge. I am If I have feelings about Bambleby, it is annoyance.
Because she's like, I am annoyed that he is my soulmate. I am annoyed that he is beautiful. I am annoyed. It's so funny.
Yep.
And so, but it's like she's thinking, well, maybe I'll just like jump his bones real quick to see how I feel about it. But before she can do that, she gets like drawn back to the fairy tree by the scary like ring that she has. And but she ends up to like get rid of the spell. She ends up chopping off her own finger.
Yep.
Like a crazy person.
She's like, oh, I can feel the Fae King calling to me. And then she's like, oh, I can kind of feel out the like enchantment that's on me. It's only gonna let me do things that, what is it? It's only gonna let her do things that like
Like that
Basically,
he
something
like,
wants her to do.
yeah.
that that are like good for her or something because she's like, oh, I'm cold, so it let me get a jacket. Like I thought, oh, I'm
Yeah.
cold, so it lets me get a jacket.
Yeah.
And so she thinks that she's like, oh, okay, well, how can I think like, oh, I'm this, and then it lets it get the axe,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
and then oh,
It's
just
so
chop off my finger.
oh,
She did
it's
excellent.
crazy.
I was so
And
proud of her. I was
she
like,
did
that's
amazing.
amazing.
But I also love the way that Heather, like what you're saying, like the way that she describes fairy stuff in this book is so interesting to me. The thing is, I love fairies whenever they're kind of still allowed to be a little evil or a little mischievous, or like they're just very not like us, which
Yes.
is like one of the things that is intriguing to me. So I love that in this book, like even Wendell, who is the like love interest and is like a main character, and we love him, he is still a little bit like scary. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there's
Yes.
still something a little mischievous and scary about like all of the fairy aspects, like
She did
especially this
not
like weird
cutify the
enchantment.
fairies at all. She did
No.
not like
Yeah.
paint them up. Yeah.
And I love that. So then Emily ends up going to free the fairy king anyway.
For
And
academic reasons. I was like,
She's
you
like,
are not about to do this to write a paper about it. And she's like, I am about to do this to write a
I
paper.
am actually,
I'm
I
gonna
really am.
pretend I'm still under this enchantment and I'm gonna go free him.
Yeah. She's like, I have a
She's
limited amount of time before the Fae King realizes that I'm not actually enchanted. So I have to like be quick about this.
she is crazy. Oh my God. So she ends up using one of her words of power. Oh, well, she asks Poe first if he knows anything about it. And Poe tells her that like long ago the fairy queen like wrapped the fairy king up in like some kind of cloak or something and then
Hmm.
planted him and then he became the tree. So she's like, okay, weird. So she goes back to the tree and ends up using one of her words of power that she's learned over the years, which are like these weird little words that even mortals can use that. And this one is for finding buttons. And so she uses that one, and like the buttons from this like old cloak that the fairy king was trapped in like pop out, and then he's freed from the tree, which I thought
Yep.
was really fun.
That was
But
really
And
fun.
a small part of her motivation too, it's mostly academic, but there's a small part that Poe also tells her, and I think someone else, I don't know, that the Fairy King forbade the Fae from taking mortals at all. And
mm,
then the queen that usurped him, she's the one that let them take, like, they've been more and more of the village's children and people have gone missing
Yeah.
since she took over essentially. So she's like, well, maybe if I free him, then they won't take the villagers anymore.
Yeah.
yes, yes, which is key. I forgot about that.
She's like, but just
Um,
in case he does end
But
up
that's like
screw that.
2% of her motivation.
See,
98% is like, I'll write a paper about
I'm
this.
gonna
But
write a
also
paper.
it'd be cool if that happened too, I guess.
That would also be
she,
nice.
oh my gosh. So she ends up freeing him, and he's immediately like, oh, great. Now we can be married. And she's like, what? And he's like, well, obviously you're going to marry me now. And she's like, I'm actually already betrothed. And he's like, well, that's okay. We'll just like give him a better dowry. It'll be fine. He won't mind
Yeah.
because you're not very pretty. Like that. kind of
so
thing.
mean.
And
And
she's
then
Yeah.
like,
she's like, "Well, you're right.
wonderful.
I'm not pretty, so I you don't want to marry me." And he's like, "No, I have to. It's fine."
Seer
Yeah,
told me that like a ugly little human like academic was gonna free me from this tree one day and that I would marry her. So I'm gonna well, that's what I'm gonna do for you because you lowly human that you can't think of any better honor. No, no, don't thank me. Don't thank
It's
me.
like, oh, you're
and
also so funny because you're you are so modest and stuff, and that's so cute that you think like you're like, oh, I'm ugly, and I mean you are, but it's funny, so that's why I'm gonna keep you. That's why we're married.
exactly. He's,
Really is,
You
yeah.
oh
don't
my
pretend you
God.
don't pretend that you're beautiful, which is something that you're not. So that's why I like you.
He's like, I've always loved modesty. Like, that's such a great quality to have.
But
So,
he's also like,
she,
and you're very smart for a human. Like everything
yeah.
is basically like, no, you're an excellent choice and mate for a human. And she's like, no, I'm just because she knows that fairies are typically vain from all of the stories. So she's like, I'm too ugly. You can't possibly, somebody as beautiful as you, the king of the fairy, cannot possibly be married to me. And he's like, you don't live that long anyways. It's fine. It's like a like a
It's like
goldfish, you know? You're like, it doesn't
it's
live
like
that
I'll marry
long.
you, you'll die, and then I'll marry someone better. That's it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
He
it's
literally
not
says
even
Worry
an
that.
about it.
inconvenience. It's just a little
Like,
inconvenience. Don't even like,
like it's fine. Like you freed me. Like I don't even care. And she's like, great. So he ends up taking her back to his like palace that he creates because he's
for
been
her.
like, yeah. And so all the fairies come back, and like the queen who had usurped him like years ago, she ends up going into hiding. And so Emily is just living with this fairy king at this palace, and she's like immediately like loses track of like the time, and she's like trying to write down in her like journal like what's going on, but everything is weird and fairy, and she's like not totally
And she
there
can't
because
leave. She's
yeah,
been
he
like
like trapped her
enchanted.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's also so much about like, oh, I just love modesty and forgiveness and everything. He's like, so like anyone who was like working with the queen, I'm just gonna forgive them. Like I'm just gonna
Yeah.
absolutely forget them. And then someone will come and be like, oh, I beheaded this person that was working with the queen. He's like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. I was gonna forgive them. And then later he like gives them all sorts of gold and they're like his best friend and everything. Each
Yeah.
time someone's like murdered, he's like, oh, like that's so sad, but also
Come
here's
sit
some,
beside me at
yeah,
dinner.
yeah.
Yeah, it's so freaky.
It's like I
Like
just want to
honestly,
see the queen so that I can tell her I forgive her and like let her go in peace between us. And then
Yeah.
yeah.
someone comes back and they're like, my wolves ripped her to shreds, and he's like, oh, I just feel so bad that we didn't get to make things right, but also you're now the head of everything because you're
You
the
are now
best.
in charge.
Yes. He is so the thing is, I kind of feel like for as old as he is and for like being that scary, like he is like he's better than he could be, you know?
He's
Oh
not
Like
that
yes.
bad.
Oh
he's not that
yes.
bad. Like he at least pretends, you know?
Much like politics, I think the best sometimes we can hope for is he could be worse.
Could be worse, really. Like, and so he's like not that bad, but he's still not great. And so poor Emily is like trapped there, and like her wedding is fast approaching. And one day, like one of the basically there's all these servants always coming in to like help with preparations for the wedding. And there are like these tailors there to help her with her wedding dress. And one of them is revealed to be Bambleby, who is like has disguised himself as one of the Yushi, like the little
The
fairies.
little, yeah, household
And
fairies.
yes, and the other one is Shadow. And she's like, "Oh my God, you're here!" And he's like, "Oh my God, we have been trying for months to get you back, girl." He's like, "Everyone in
So
town has
sweet.
been freaking out," and she's like, "Oh my God!" And so she's actually been off like a whole month on like how long she's been there. And he's like, "I
Yeah.
mean, all things considered, that's pretty good, Emily. Like
Yeah.
you're
He's like,
doing
that's
really
not
well."
bad.
Which
Yeah.
we forgot to mention before that the whole reason Emily was able to get into the fairy market and everything at first and resist all the enchantments and
Oh,
everything is because
yes.
Shadow is actually
Oh
a
yes,
Grim.
Yes.
Um,
yes.
so Shadow's
She
not just
picked
a
up
regular
in
dog.
Scotland. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
she saved
yes.
him, and so now he's just like her loyal, and he helps her not succumb to fairy enchantments and everything, which I was
Oh,
like, I love him even more.
Yay.
So
I
yeah.
love
I
this
love
dog.
it. I love that too because you kind of know like a lot for a lot of the book. You're like something is weird with Shadow. Like she'll just drop like little hints that something is off with him, and then she just very like unceremoniously is like, "Oh yes, and of course I saved him from the." Like it's so funny the way she reveals him. But I love that he is like actually this terrifying beast, but he's actually just sweet Shadow. It's so
Yeah.
cute.
So sweet. Such a good
Um.
boy.
So Bambleby is like, listen, we've got a plan. I've been working with Aud, who is one of the like, she's like the head lady of the town. And everyone's been like working together to like help her. And he gives her a journal that he's been writing to like kind of catch her up to speed and stuff. And then also the plan is they're going to poison the fairy king during like the ceremony where everyone's giving gifts and like the mortals are allowed to come and like give him a gift. And so they're
And
going to
then the
poison him
queen
and
is gonna come and kill him.
yes, because Bambleby like knows the queen because he was like, well, as soon as I found out you were enchanted, I immediately went and was like trying to find. And she's like, you've known I was enchanted this whole time, and he's like, well, yeah, obviously. She's like, oh my god. So anyway, the day comes and that is going down, but then Emily is kind of like, this isn't right. Like, I know that there's something else to this. And so she like doesn't poison the king. And then they end up blaming it on the fairy queen who gets found out. And then there's like this whole like dramatic thing where like they're running around and basically it's like a big distraction. And so they end up being able to escape the castle
Without killing the
Bamble
fairy king, which
without
was
killing the
impressive.
king. Yes, because he is probably going to be better off for everybody than the queen
Yeah.
anyway.
I was so
Considering he was,
surprised. I was like, this sucks. There's no
yeah,
way out but to kill him.
I
Dang it.
know, but they found a way. So anyway, they get out and everything kind of works out. Bambleby is still looking like not himself, and he's like, "Oh, it's so ugly."
He's
And
so
Emily's like, "I
furious
kind of
about
like
it.
it."
Emily's like, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even
Good.
notice. He's
Yeah.
like, what do you
Like,
mean?
what?
He's even more insulted. He's like,
Yeah.
he loves Emily as the way she is, but I also think he like really it irritates him that she doesn't appreciate his beauty because he is incredibly
Yeah.
vain. His beauty's very important to him, and she's like, I literally didn't even
So very
notice.
Hal. Like,
It's
that
so
is so
Hal.
very Hal.
So
Yes.
Hal. Same with his just
Idiots.
like throwing fits and I didn't want these presents.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, like a big baby.
Hal's like, you messed up my hair.
like, for real.
And Buffy's like, I messed
Gosh.
up my hair.
I know, exactly.
Oh god.
So everyone is then like, yay, we did it. And like basically everyone in the town is best friends with them and they're all like, oh, miss you so much. And so they end up leaving because they don't want to deal with the fairy king once he finds out that they just like took him for all his money, basically.
I
So
love that. I love that very irrelevant fact, but Bambleby gives one of the villagers an apple tree, like in
Oh
thanks for
yes.
helping out. And it just like produces so many apples as they're leaving, as Bambleby and Emily are leaving. The villager, I don't remember which one it was, but she's like,
yeah.
"Here, have these apple cakes." And Emily's like, "Oh, we really don't need those." She's like, "Please take them.
Please
There's
take
so
the
many
apple.
apples." And she's afraid, like, if she lets a single apple go to waste, that like, because
Yeah.
Bumblebee's fey, that he's gonna
Yeah.
curse her or something bad's gonna
Yeah.
happen. She's
Which
like,
is
nobody
so
else wants
real.
apples. Please take the apples.
Like
And then,
in
and Emily's like, feed them to the pigs.
Yeah. She's like, oh, what, who cares?
it's so good. But I loved it because even that like little detail, like that is exactly what the Fae would do is like gift some
Yes.
mortal something and then not think about like the practicality or the logistics of it because they're not human. That's not their business to know. And then be incredibly offended and take revenge when they don't make perfect use of it. Like that is
They're
so
so
over and over
petty.
again in the folklore. It like cracks me up.
It's
Oh, it
amazing.
was so funny.
It also cracked me up when Wendell like Poe's tree got destroyed and Wenzel fixed it for him, but it's also like kind of just mean because he's like, I don't care about this brownie. Like he's so like
classic.
hoity-toity about this brown and Sweet Poe is like, oh, thank you so much for and like whatever. And it's so funny to me.
He gets a
He's like,
wife because his new tree is
yes.
so nice.
He's like, my lady loves the new
It's like
tree.
I
And
had the
Wendell's like,
choice
your
of
lady.
I had the choice of every lady after they saw this tree.
That's exactly.
So cute.
She
She's like,
married
oh,
me for my tree.
congratulations.
Yeah. And
I
then she's like,
I will also marry for tree.
I marry for tree.
I will also marry for tree. So what that tree look like? How's that tree doing? Oh my God.
The
Oh
only
my
jokes I
God.
can think of just like get really dirty. Like,
I know. I know when Spoon said I was like, oh.
I
We're
know.
cutting it off. We're cutting it off.
Gosh. But it was
Oh my
funny and
God.
sweet too because Poe's wife was like not sure, like earlier on, like if she wanted to trust Emily. And Poe's basically
Mhm.
like, no, she's family. And it was like, oh my God, no. So
Emily's like
sweet.
crying. She's like, how
He's
nice.
like, that one got me. I think I feel something.
She's like, yep, that's it. Feeling an emotion. Yep.
Oh, that is a feeling.
God. So the two, oh, and while Emily was gone, of course, Wendell tailored all of her clothes and also like he didn't type it, but he like edited her whole encyclopedia and like wrote up all their notes for their new paper that they're going to publish together and all of this. And she's like, you know what? This isn't bad. Like she's kind of like, you did a good job. And so they're off together to go present their findings because they have a couple of artifacts now from the hidden ones, which is exciting. And hopefully get some funding and also so Wendell can continue his search for the doors, and also Emily can get her name out there as a respected scholar in dryadology. So it's all working out. And she's like, so basically, I still need some time to think about your marriage proposal. And he's like, okay.
He's like, oh, I'm just glad you didn't forget about it, basically.
Yeah.
Like I'm good. Like no answer is a good answer as far as I'm concerned right now.
And when they're at their little conference, he's like, would have been pretty fun if you had already accepted my proposal. We could have been Mr. and Mrs. Wendell Bambleby. They would have freaked out. And she's like, your chin is still crooked. And he's like, no, it's not. Like,
That was so funny. I laughed out loud so many times when I was listening to this book, including them. Just like taking care of the chickens and that. And I was like, and that was like it. And that was like the end. I was like, what
That's
the?
it. They're so cute. Oh, and then you guys both have to read the second one if you liked this one. The second one
I
is
want
possibly
to.
even better. It's like just as good, at least. So
It's so hard. Here's the thing. I want to get the second one so bad, but I want to own it physically, but also I
mhm.
really enjoyed this audiobook. Like I really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. So I'm like, I don't know what to do now. I want both.
The narrator is really
Or
good.
que no lo
Really, really
estás.
good. Yeah. Anyways,
Well, if you want
yeah.
to rent if you want to borrow my copy, I will bring it
I
to
will
you.
pay you $1, please.
I'm gonna need some payment for that. So just kidding.
Oh gosh.
Oh goodness. Oh
Well,
goodness.
what were our favorite and least favorite parts? Oh God, that's so hard. I said it like it was something easy to determine. Like
Consult my notes.
She's like, everyone but
Um,
me, go.
everyone else, go.
My favorite part, I think, is like kind of that whole sequence when they're rescuing Margaret and Lilia. Like, I don't know, the times when Wendell starts acting more Fey and Emily's freaking out. That
Yeah,
is so funny to me. But it's
I liked that
like
too.
I love that whole like sequence.
Yeah. I don't know. I whispered into the microphone.
Like whatever.
I
I don't know.
don't know. I the book, that was my favorite part. Like
The whole thing.
like the story that was
uh,
in this.
kind of the
Uh,
book, the
I
whole
like the
book.
way that the words in the book made sentences and those sentences made paragraphs.
Yeah,
that
the
me too.
words.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
I liked it.
I'm changing my answer to that. I think probably just the words and the book. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, what about favorite quote? Did we do a quote?
I
I
did
didn't
a
even
quote
get one. I didn't.
because as I was reading, I was like, holy crap. I literally laughed and then I read it out loud to Phil and he was like, okay.
Of
Ah!
course.
I was like, no,
Oh,
this is
let's hear it.
great.
You're like, no,
Um,
this is so funny.
okay. This is page 277, but um, let me figure out where we are in the actual story. I'm not sure if that matters.
Also, I think one of my
Oh,
favorite parts was the with the changeling child, that whole thing. I really enjoyed it. And I
Mm,
enjoyed the way that Bamblebee and Emily's relationship developed around then. I thought of it.
yes,
So
very good. Good
that's a good
job.
one.
thank you, thank you.
So this is actually from Wendell's like writing in the diary, or the journal,
Mhm.
when Emily was trapped with the Fae King, and he's like, I recorded everything because
Hmm.
you would have want to know. So he talks about how he went to the villagers and was like, panicking and everything, and they gave him tea. They were like, you're freezing cold, sit down, like, calm down, whatever. Um, and sorry. I have to find it. It's on this page. I see it though.
I feel like I
Okay.
know which one this
So
is.
yeah. So Shadow padded up to me and put his head on my knee, all forgiven, as it always is with dogs. If I frightened my cat as I had Shadow, she'd ignore me for days or possibly put a curse on me, but then cats have self-respect.
I laughed at
Literally
that
my
one too.
quote.
Oh
That was my quote.
my gosh. That is
Dying.
hilarious. Oh my gosh. I laughed at that one too.
I was like, my cat would put a curse on me, but then again, cats have
Cats have
self-respect,
self-respect.
and I
Yes, of
have.
course. You guys picked that because you are the mother of Lilith, mother of demons, and you are the mother of Jucifer.
We're very apologetic about our cats.
I was like,
Oh, that's
yes.
so funny. I was like, nobody will pick this one.
I saw it and I was
Oh
like,
my
that's it,
gosh.
that's it. I cracked up. Yeah, I read that out loud to Phil. And I mean, I guess having zero like concept of what was going on, he was like, okay. But I was like,
It's like,
no,
all
it's
right,
so
whatever.
great.
It
I
is
So
think I
great.
just
funny.
liked every time that Wendell called Emily a mad woman. I think just add that
Yes.
to my list of favorite quotes. I loved it
Or
so
a
much.
dragon.
Dragon is
Dragon.
my other favorite. So
That was
good.
good. Yeah.
Oh, it's so cute to me when she's like reading his notes and there's like all the little doodles of her and she's like, oh, I look really pretty in this one. She's like kind of mad.
So weird. How dare
He,
he? How dare he think
he's
about
like
me?
cons. It was also funny, like back to the cat thing, her like his little doodles of she's like, it looks like a cat. He's either really bad at drawing cats specifically, or his cat looks crazy. Like,
Yeah.
For real.
She's
I have
like,
to
or
read
his
the
cat is
second
a
one.
demon.
It was so
Yes.
I was
funny.
like, I have a feeling his cat's actually a demon.
Oh, see, I was like, one thing Wendell can't do. Ha ha. Like I was just like, he's an idiot.
Okay,
He
now
can't
I'm
draw.
positive. Now I'm positive his cat's a demon because I know how Ash cannot see anything forthcoming when it's in
You're so
books.
Yeah.
correct. I'm like,
Just
what?
when
The
when Spoons and I are like, okay, well, obviously that's foreshadowing to this happening.
I'm like,
Wheezy's
what?
always like, oh wow, what's going on here?
And in that way, I am a bit like Emily. Everyone else is like, come on,
what?
sweetie, come on.
So now I'm positive that it's
You're correct.
Yeah.
he's not
The
bad at
cat
cats too.
may or may not make an appearance in the second one. I can't confirm or deny, but
That means that it does. How exciting.
it means it does. I am telling you now.
And next one, I'll be like,
Um,
I had no idea. Even though you
what?
told me.
Oh my
I had a feeling that there might be there.
god. Oh my
God.
god.
Favorite
Um,
and least favorite characters. We know that Spoons is Poe, is favorite.
it's
Is her
Poe,
favorite.
but also, of course, Wendell.
Well, duh.
But I love Emily as well. I love everybody. But yeah, I guess if I had to pick like just my special little favorite, it would probably be Poe. I love him.
My
I think he's
special
My
so
little
cute.
special
favorite.
little favorite.
My special little favorite. Yeah.
Okay, I think we should just put like Wendell and Emily like there,
At the
and
top?
then
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like
Mhm.
who's your favorite excluding them.
Yes,
Yeah, I
exactly. That's
agree
what I'm
because
thinking.
it
Amazing.
is, yeah, Wendell and Emily are the best ones. Yeah.
So then my favorite is Shadow. Uh,
Love.
Same. I'm taking Shadow also, but maybe Poe.
Copycat.
Maybe I don't have my own ideas anymore.
Paul said. I don't know.
Whatever
That
they
one,
said.
that thing, yeah.
That character is the best.
Yeah, me
What was
too.
the
Me too.
book
I
again?
totally read this book.
You spark
Oh,
notes
God.
it. I
And it comes out now. She's never been able to read.
I know.
That's why she
she'll
doesn't
be like,
host
I
alone.
can't
Literally has.
read. I think
Surprise.
that what's so cute about this though is that like all the little side characters are precious. You know, like I don't know,
Yes.
Finn
Yes.
or like, and also like Lilia, like out. Everybody is so cute. I'm like,
They
oh,
are.
adorable.
It's very true.
And then
My least
okay,
favorite though, since we have to pick,
yeah,
like it's a requirement or you'll get cursed.
right.
Correct.
It's the guy that actually owns the house that she lives in.
Christian.
Sure, yeah.
You're like,
Aw.
whatever.
I
I think
will.
he's okay.
No, because
If you
like
have to pick.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I have to pick, and the reason
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said yeah is because they also use his last name a lot, and I forget, and it's like
Mhm.
again,
Oh,
one
yeah.
of those names. So I was like,
Right, that
okay.
one. I didn't like the changeling's mom. I thought that she sucked really bad.
Oh, the fairy
The
lady.
actual fairy mom
Yeah.
or the village
The actual
Yeah.
fairy mom. She's
I
like,
guess.
She was like, "Why did you bring it back?"
yeah, for real. And then Emily sort of figures out like, oh, you did it to protect your kid. But she's like not even upset that even if she did it to protect her kid and now her kid's back and in danger again, like she's over it. I'm like, you suck. Like at least pick a lane.
Yeah.
Like you're even worse mom because you won't pick a lane. Like, oh my gosh. I didn't like
I
her at
do.
all.
A lot of fairy stories are very much like, so are y'all all evil or what? Like, why would you do this?
Are you all
It's
just
so
really bad
crazy.
parents? Like,
Yeah, well, Emily even says that. She's like, they're all widely considered to be bad parents. Like, they're
yes,
not. I'm like,
for
no
real.
wonder.
Yep.
I mean, Wendell's stepmom is like, I'll just kill them all, but you can live, I guess. Like, that's so crazy.
See, but
It's
that's why I
honestly-
love Faye. Like the fact
Yes.
that they're like, oh, kill people, and drink champagne while we do it. Like,
Yes.
they're like, oh, this is a fun game. Like,
Oh, I
like,
totally
true.
agree. They're insane.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
chaotic
they're so
evil
fun.
for sure.
Yeah.
They are. And
I love
like,
it.
even Wendell is sort of chaotic evil.
He is.
A little.
I love it.
You know, he is so much better than he could be, though.
It's true.
Like,
He has spent a lot of time with humans. I think
Yeah.
he's special.
That's helped him a lot, I'm sure.
Listen, I'd prefer a character that is that chaotic evil of just like rather than one that has like a villain with a poor backstory, you know? Someone who has
Yes.
zero reason for being evil, they just are. They're like, haha, other than a villain that you're like, okay, but that's why you chose to kill everyone? Like, really?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
Like,
I'd
not
rather
a good
someone
enough
just be like,
reason.
I do it because I don't
It's
know.
fun.
Yeah.
don't
It's
know.
just fun to be
Why do I
bad.
care? Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I agree. I totally
Very
agree.
true.
All right. Is that it? Lessons learned.
Oh yeah, lessons learned. Do not cross the Fae. Do not make
That-
deals with the Fae.
Don't
Number
touch
one.
the trees.
Do not
Don't
touch
touch
the
it.
trees. Mm-mm.
That's number
Like,
one rule.
If you
Thinking about
suspect
hugging a
your
tree?
child,
Don't.
maybe don't hug trees. Yeah, if you suspect your child may be a changeling, just be extra nice to it and see
Extra
if that
sweet.
fixes it.
Yes.
Just in case, you know.
You never know.
Either maybe your kid, that's exactly what they need, or maybe you're just avoiding a horrible, torturous death by changeling. So,
You know, it's better safe than
Err
sorry.
on the safe side, yes.
Yeah, exactly. What else? It's always good
big,
to go
fluffy
into a
dog.
situation prepared. Emily was
Yes.
always prepared. She is crazy, but she, you know, she's the best
She's
in her
very
field.
prepared.
I truly
for it.
believe.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Cut off your
Wendell's-
finger if you have to, but then don't go back to the tree.
Yes.
Be
Above all
ready to
co-
cut off your finger. Be prepared.
You know, it's never out of the question entirely. So
Practice your wood chopping skills
Keep
so
an
that you've
axe
got
nearby.
that
Yes.
accuracy.
Let's
Yeah.
learn some survival skills. Absolutely.
Mhm.
There's
You know?
a
Your
lot of
axe sharp.
lessons here.
There
Yeah.
are a lot of good lessons.
It's Lilith.
Hello, baby.
Hello, Lilith.
She's like,
"Let
what's
me
going on?"
down.
Hello,
I will curse you all.
She's so
sweet.
cute. She's
Pretty
a cutie.
girl. She looks
Hi,
kind of like
sweet girl.
Juicy.
She does. I know. They could be friends. Crazy. I don't know. Who knows? Um, okay. Should we do pinkies up then, I guess?
Yeah, five.
Five for me as well.
Five pinkies up. Gino.
Oh no.
Oh no.
She's like, one.
One and a half,
Hated it.
maybe.
No, it's just because you both said five, but and I was thinking about this earlier and I was like, I there's zero reason for me to not give it five other than like I feel like five has to be saved for my favorite book ever.
Only one book
That's
ever can have
Yes.
five.
there's
That's
only
how I
one.
feel like it might. So I was like 4.85.
Oh,
4.85. Nice.
wow.
Okay.
Okay.
I like a
That's
good decimal
totally
point. I'll
fair.
take it. Yeah.
Completely fair.
That is funny.
Yay, I'm so glad we all I think honestly I was thinking about it today and I was like I enjoyed rereading it so much and I only read it for the first time a year ago. I was like maybe I'll just read it every year. Like every January I'll read it because
It is
it's
a
like
January read.
winter.
Yeah.
Yes, and I love it so much.
This
It's like
felt
my
like
favorite book
coincidentally the
of recent
perfect
memory.
time. Yeah.
Yes.
I
I
did
think
that
I
on
So
would
purpose.
agree. This and Powerless. Did you really?
The universe told me to,
Oh, okay.
so
I don't
that's
know if
what
you
I
guys can hear my
said.
husband in the background. I heard him say something about a fireball. He's playing video games. He's just appeared there for a second, but he just said something about fireballs. I will try
fireballs.
to I will try to cut out his speaking from the last part of it. But is there anything else that you guys want to say about this book?
I think I've definitely talked enough, so I'll be quiet and then I've been too loud.
No,
Sweet.
I don't have anything else to say. I liked it, obviously. We all liked it, and
4.85 pinkies up worth, but not
Yeah, I'm
five.
so glad that you picked it off your list,
Yes, I'm so glad. I wouldn't have
And
gotten around to it.
yeah, it
Like
was just a
it
random,
just
and I
wasn't at
was
the
so
top of my list.
excited when you were like, "Oh, that's Spoons' like favorite book." I was like,
Literally between the two of y'all, I was like, maybe there's something to this book. And then I read it and I was like, all right, well, Wendell Bambleby has ruined me for every other man. I'm gonna have to break that to my
I
husband.
mean, he is so unfortunately my type, like the blonde, the
He is
like
so your type.
I
the
did have
he's
the
so like
thought.
finicky a little bit. Oh God, I'm like putty in his hands. Oh, it's
I did
terrible.
have the thought that it was not that it's never happened before, but like when you sent that text, Ash, about like I think I'm in love with him,
Yeah.
and everyone was like, ah, I was like, usually there's like a bad guy, good guy disagreement sort of on the man
Mhm.
scale here, how the pod goes. But I was like,
Yeah.
everyone collectively was like, no, we can get behind this guy.
Just as we worship at the temple of Algernon, we can all worship at the
At the
temple of
Temple of
Wendell
Wendell
Bambleby.
Bambleby.
Yes, because he has that amazing dichotomy of he's sort of a bad boy in the sense that he is an evil fae in many
He is
Like
ways.
evil, yeah.
he could rip you limb from limb if he got in a bad mood very
Exactly,
quickly.
and
Yeah,
that's that
but
bad
he
boy thing that we
won't.
like.
But he'll eat waffles with you too and drink coffee. Like
A hundred
that's kind of
percent he
where he
will.
wants
And
to
he'll
be. Yeah.
he'll read your papers and help you edit them. Like
Hmm.
very sweet. Yeah, he's
Yes.
that
He
amazing little
contains
paradox.
multitudes, and I love that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's the man for every woman, but Emily's the only woman for him.
That is so true. Oh my God. He's
So
desperate.
sweet.
uh,
Ugh.
tying
Well,
tying the reading papers back. Remember, if you want to go to our writers retreat,
yes, it's exactly what I was about to say. Look at Gino, she's so
we'll
on it.
we'll submit your papers to Wendell Bambleby for review
Yes,
afterwards.
for
For
review.
red pen points on this
Yeah.
thing.
He may or may not read them. He may have Emily do it for him. But either way, you're getting
He
absolutely
100%
excellent
will have
feedback.
Emily do it for him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
100%.
yeah.
But you'd
Yeah.
rather that
Oh,
as well, so
Emily, you're just so much better at this sort of thing than me. Yeah. Oh my
Exact
God.
Wendell. Yep, for real. Yeah, so go check out the writing retreat. It is going to happen May 1st through 4th. It'll be in Texas this time. We are going to have another one hopefully in the fall. And if you guys want to be added to the email list, do it. I highly, highly consider you guys check it out. I'm so excited. I'm going to be there. Gina's going to be there. Kendall is too cool. She's going to be in New Zealand. So some of us will be there. Um, Wow, that's a downer.
I'll just leave.
That
God.
felt so pointed,
It did
even
feel
though it
really
wasn't.
pointed. I'll edit it so it doesn't sound so pointed because it wasn't supposed to be
I know,
pointed.
I could
I
tell
was
it
like,
wasn't, but
Literally
it
was
did.
what
silence
else?
It was
after the
like,
like.
she won't be there, but that silence.
So we will have a whole entire day dedicated to mourning
Oh
Spoons'
my god.
absence through
Oh
grief. So
yeah,
do
yeah,
expect
the
that.
We're
necessary
gonna have a
respects, of
shrine for
course.
her.
Oh
Oh
my
my
god.
gosh, we should have a shrine.
Just like put some Earl Grey on there and
Oh yeah,
yeah.
100%. Well, we will
Oh
take pictures
boy.
and she will hopefully be there for the fall one. So it's really just another reason to at
Yes.
least get reach out and get on the email list so you guys can come to the next one. But I will be there and I'm like cool enough, guys, right? Like I'll never see your plot twist coming. We'll never ever see it coming. Yeah, but also in the meantime,
Uh,
follow us on social media. We're on Instagram. We are on TikTok, which is a dubious matter of is is TikTok going to continue to exist in its current
it
form? I don't
is.
know, but we're on there if it does. And also we are on the Facebook, and I think that that is it. You guys can support the pod
Yeah.
if you want to go check out our shops. We've got cool merchandise that's all bookish and fun. There will be, like I said, there's gonna be exclusive merch at the writing retreat. So just to circle back to it, if you guys want some really cool exclusive merch, and you guys get to vote on the quote that you want to have on t-shirts, and it's gonna be really cool, and everyone's gonna have one except for Spoons. I'm just kidding.
Damn, what the hell? Just get out of here, I guess.
No, it will be good though. It's yeah, it'll all be good. See, I keep like walking myself into a corner because I've been talking about the writing retreat for like every hour of the day for like a whole week on social media. Be nice to me on social media. Tell other people to
Yeah,
be
or
nice to me
you'll
on
have
social
me to
media.
contend with.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're gonna have Spoons. She's gonna come at you guys.
with
See
her
this right hand?
little,
Whack! You scared? They're scared.
her
Her
little
little
wooden
wooden poppet
popper gun.
gun. Yeah,
Pew pew
she's
pew
gonna
pew
get
pew
ya.
pew. I'm gonna get
And with that absolutely adorable ending to this episode, we'll see you next time with another awesome book, maybe a classic. I don't know. It's been a little while. We'll see.
We'll
And
see.
regardless, until then, keep your teacups full.
Your pinky's high.
Mhm. And
And
your book
your
club.
pretentious.
Yay!